Building forward better, investing in Africa's workers. We have all witnessed the ways in which COVID-19 has exposed and exacerbated existing vulnerabilities. Here in sub-Saharan Africa, 89% of workers are informally employed. That's 380 million people who had little to no safety net to shield them from the health and economic crisis of COVID. Many rely on their daily income to provide for themselves and their families. Few are covered under existing government social protection programs such as unemployment insurance, maternity benefits, childcare services, and pensions. For these workers, COVID meant having their livelihoods locked down while also being largely locked out of relief measures. For women, school and creche closures meant a loss of work, both for the women who work in these sectors as well as for the other working women who depend on their care services. In many ways, the pandemic has shown us who and what is essential and how to build forward better. It showed us that many of the workers we rely on are often excluded from recognition and protection. It also showed us that expanding social protection is possible with political will and works best when a robust social protection system is already in place. Togo and Namibia introduced temporary cash transfers during 2020 for workers in the informal economy to support them through the COVID-19 crisis. At the same time, Kenya and South Africa reached many informal workers through top-ups to old age pensions and child support grants. The pandemic also showed us how organizations of informal workers and trade unions were essential partners in working towards closing this protection gap. In 2020, the Malawi Congress of Trade Unions, the Malawi Union for the Informal Sector, together with ordinary informal traders, challenged the government's failure to provide relief to workers, including informal traders, who were unable to work under the proposed lockdown. The pandemic showed us that tax justice makes good economic sense, while balancing budgets on the backs of the poor does not. Many African countries finance social protection, such as cash and food support, via indirect taxes such as VAT, which can leave poorer people and women paying a higher share of their income in taxes. Informal workers often pay too much of their income to taxation, tolls, licenses, and fees, while also having to pay bribes in order to receive basic services and being harassed for simply trying to earn a living. Meanwhile, corruption and tax evasion sees an estimated $89 billion leave the continent every year. It's time to crack down on those depleting the economy and invest in the people who keep our world running. Research shows that a bottom-up economic stimulus is one of the most cost-effective responses to this crisis. The sheer size of the informal workforce means that small investments can have a big impact on stabilizing incomes and families and kickstarting recovery. Cash and in-kind transfers go further when quality, affordable, and accessible public services exist to meet the healthcare and childcare needs of all workers. For the poorest countries, domestic efforts to rebuild require international solidarity, including genuine payment of 0.7% of the GDP of OECD states to developing economies, as well as supporting the creation of a global social protection fund. Government, industry, and all workers have an essential role to play in scaling up social protection and public services and creating a decent world of work. In fact, collaborative blueprints already exist. Recommendations 202 and 204 of the International Labour Organization, Sustainable Development Goals 1, 3, and 8, can be drawn on to start planning a just recovery and a resilient future, one that leaves no one behind. Social protection for all workers is possible.